Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be doing this kind of bronzy, sultry makeup look while also testing out the new Fenty Beauty PROFILTR concealers and their new setting powder. So I went ahead and did my brows off camera, and starting off with the Hudabeauty Desert Dusk palette, I'm going to be grabbing the shade Blazing, and with the crease brush I'm going to just pat that in my crease and then start blending that outward. Next, I'll be taking the shade Amber and start placing that directly in my crease the same way and also blend that in with the shade Blazing. Next, I'll be taking the shade Oud, but I'm going to focus this a little bit more on the inner part of my crease and less on the outer part. And now going into my Bebella GoPro Volume 3 palette, I'm going to take the shade Bitten and place that just in the inner part of my crease on my eye. And then I'm going to take a clean brush and make sure that everything is nice and blended out. And then taking my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer and just using my finger, I'm going to pat this on my eyelid so anything that I put on top will stick and adhere really well. And then taking the shade Goldie from the Bebella palette, I'm just going to pat that on top of the concealer. And then I'm taking the Stila Cosmetics liquid eyeshadow. This is in the shade Rose Gold Retro, and I'm going to start placing that on the inner part of my eye, pulling it outward. Going back into the Bebella palette, I'm going to take the shade Rose Dust and just pat that all over the liquid eyeshadow I just put down. For liner, I use the Sigma Pen eyeliner, and then for lashes, I use Lilly lashes in the style Hollywood. So starting off with my base, I first took the Mario Badescu facial spray, and then taking the TonyMoly Cat's Perfect eye contour stick, I'm going to rub that underneath my eyes, and you can see the huge difference it makes in my dark circles. And then taking the Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer, I'm going to rub that between my fingers to warm it up and then place that on my nose and on my cheeks and on my chin. To create more of a glow, I took the iconic London Original Illuminator and just placed that on my cupid's bow, a little on my chin and on my cheeks. Wasn't sure which foundation to go with because I wanted something that was a little bit more full coverage but still looked like skin, so I used the Becca Skin Love Blur Foundation. This is currently one of my favorites. It looks really good on the skin, and the shade I'm using here is Driftwood. Going in with the Fenty Beauty PROFILTR concealers, here I have shade 380 and 130. So grabbing the shade 380, I'm just going to start placing that in my contour. So placing that on my cheeks, on my forehead, on my jawline, and on my nose. The concealer worked really well, however, as a cream contour, it was definitely super pigmented. So for me personally, I would love to use a concealer that's a little bit less pigmented and probably one that's more cooler toned. But otherwise, it was a really good concealer, but it definitely took some pressure to blend out. And you'll see when I apply my highlighter concealer, you'll see how much I have to work to blend it out. And then taking the PROFILTR concealer in the shade 130, I'm going to place that as my highlight, so underneath my eyes, on my chin, on my cupid's bow, going down my nose, as well as my forehead. Again, these concealers are definitely really high in pigment and are super thick and a little tacky, so I had to use some pressure when I was blending them out. Like even when I got to my nose highlight, I couldn't use my beauty blender, I had to use my finger because the warmth of my finger was able to blend it out at that point. Overall, I really liked the concealers and I liked the way they look on the skin when it was all blended in and all seamless. It was super brightening, but again, they're definitely just a more thicker concealer, so be a little bit more light-handed when applying them. Now I'll be taking the Fenty Beauty, the new Instant Retouch Setting Powder, and I have here the shade Lavender. Knowing that it's not a baking powder, then it's a setting powder, I just took my sponge, grabbed some of the powder, and I just continuously set underneath my eyes. I also set my chin and my forehead, and then I applied a little extra on the sides of my nose, and I definitely would not recommend that because, again, this powder is super brightening, so it kind of stuck to the concealer in a way I really didn't want it to, but that was completely my fault. I just decided to do that, and I added some on the sides of my nose, so definitely don't do that. And then I also reverse contour, and I applied it along my jawline. I definitely fell in love with this powder because I noticed that underneath my eyes, my creases were gone, and there were definitely some blurring agents in the powder because I wasn't able to see my pores as much. To bronze the face, I took the Benefit Cosmetics Hoola bronzer, and I just placed this on the outer parts of my face. And I cut myself, so please ignore that. And then taking my Jouer Cosmetics Blush Bouquet, this one is in the shade Flirt. I'm just going to place this on the apples of my cheeks and pull it outward, kind of following where I placed the bronzer. And I definitely went a little blush happy, but I really wanted this look to be super like flush toned and stuff. So in case you ever go a little heavy with the blush, you can always just grab whatever powder brush you used and kind of run it over. Moving back to the under eyes, I'm going to be grabbing the Hudabeauty Desert Dusk palette and taking the shade Blazing with a flat definer brush. I'm just going to line my eyes, and then taking a kind of clean brush, I'm just going to help blend that out. And then I'm going to be taking the shade Amber and placing that right over where I put the shadow Blazing. I'm going to tight line using the Urban Decay 24-hour pencil in the shade Demolition. And then for mascara today, I use the new Wander Beauty Unlashed Volume Mascara. This has definitely become one of my favorites, and I think it's starting to replace my Lancome mascara. And then to set my brows, I took the Anastasia Beverly Hills Tinted Brow Gel. This one is in the shade Espresso. To intensify my highlight, I took the Pixie Fixing Mist and sprayed that on my cheeks, and then taking the Laura Geller Beauty Baked Highlighter. This one is in the shade Ballerina, and I'm going to be placing that, you guys know, on my cheeks, on my chin, my cupid's bow, my nose. One of my friends told me that I like to highlight like a disco ball, and I said, yep, pretty much. The combination I'm using for my lips today is the Bite Beauty Lip Liner in 008, and then my Maybelline Superstay Matte Liquid Lipstick, and that one is in the shade Poet. And one of my favorite tricks for my lips is I like to use my finger to help blend out any lip products, so any lip liner and lipstick to blend them together. And then to set my face, I'm using the Too Faced Hangover Setting Mist. So that is the completed look. So I really hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, leave a thumbs up and drop a comment, and if you have any video requests, leave them down below. As always, please subscribe to my channel, and thank you guys so much for watching.